Hello, um, and today I'm going to be discussing um, the problem with people my age. Um, so I have some thoughts, and this may be anecdotal to some extent. Um, a few examples that I'll bring up, uh, but I do believe that this is um, a problem, and it's more apparent than just kind of rare instances. So, there are three key traits, um, or more like personality traits, that I would say that most people, and obviously, I'm not the perfect individual. There's certainly things in this that I could work on, get better habits that could go along with this. But so the first one is empathy. So empathy is very important to humanity um, as a whole to thrive, because without it, you would have carelessness, evil, um, thoughts and behaviors to match, uh, and they would be frequently happening in public. Um, so it really doesn't have a place to fit in society. Um, if you want some order, um, and if you want people to conform to societal expectations, um, or just a baseline of just legal expectations, um, empathy is very important because one example is that there's, I don't know exactly why, but for example, like in high school, and I've been to college a little bit too, I've seen where people will ignore somebody that is having problems. They're like, oh, well, they're depressed or maybe having a bad day, or their car won't start or something. And there's so many people that will just pretend like, well, sucks for you, dude. I'm more, you know, carelessness, right? Um, um, and that in itself is not really evil, but um, it seems like some people, when they get in the habit of doing that, they'll apply it to situations that are more extreme. Like someone gets in a car crash and they're, I don't know, bleeding out, and they'll just be maybe late at night. And there might be a couple cars, right, that go by, and they're just like, whatever. They won't stop, and they may, call the police, which is a nice gesture. But what if they don't get there in time? Or what if they don't know, you know, more information that may help them? Um, it's it's kind of like laziness, really. Because if you don't want to care for anybody, or at least understand somebody else's situation, then you are too selfish. Um, and that doesn't mean that you should be selfless, because you want that kind of balance of both. And so another thing is confidence. It's a very important trait to have, in society. Sorry. Because when you're faced with conflict, you must stand up and deal with it, or it could potentially get progressively worse. Um, this is, very similar, to being assertive. Um, I see this a lot, and I definitely could work on this in particular more. I've gotten better at it. When I see something that's wrong, or if I see something that's unjust that's happening to me or somebody I care about, that's an example of just standing up, having the confidence to go out or to go and confront that person about it. Um, it's a big problem. And I think that when you went to school, or it wasn't really talked about that much. It was more in a broad sense. Like, I guess, if you're being bullied, oh, just stand up to them. They don't really tell you what to say exactly, or what to do, or to um, what exact is the right situation to even do that. So it would end up being worse. Um, but confidence is really is key, um, to having more opportunities, um, to finding out what you want in life, and to have your self esteem and your pride strengthened. Because if you're confident, then anything that you do, whether or not objectively, if it's good or perfect or great, if you feel, if you're confident that what you're doing is going to help you in some way, um, that you're going to try your best. It's kind of like, in broad terms, school. I'd hear that. If you have confidence, then you can get things done, and if you do have issues along the way, you maintain your confidence, and you will get better as you get feedback. But if you don't even have confidence, or very little to begin with, then even if you know how to do something or know how to help somebody, you just may not have the guts to actually do it. And that's a big problem, because it's like wasted potential. And I think the final thing is, it's more of a intellectual trait to some extent. I mean, everyone has this. It's curiosity. Um, and honestly, it may be the most important one. Because how you gain skills or knowledge to do the other traits, um, is through curiosity. I can say that right. Because you question things, you find solutions because you're curious. You do new experiences. Hey, try this new job, or try this new thing, new food, or this is kind of, it applies to a lot of things. It does give you the motivation to want to figure out something, figure out anything, or figure out something that's no one's ever done, or no one's ever known how to do, or you tweak it in a certain way because you're curious and you're thinking that, hey, if I could try to do it this way, a little different, then how would it be? Why not? Or take a risk because you're curious to see if you can succeed. So a lot of it intertwines, but you don't want to have too much of one, because the other ones will weaken. So it's good to maintain a good base level, and then just slowly try to bring them all up. over time. It takes a while, but if you do, um, I guess thought exercises, right? Where you think about certain things that you do every day and you can try to implement some of these traits. And you will come to find out that you'll feel better. If you were more empathetic to somebody, you would feel better because they would be affected by you. They would remember what you did. And if you see them again, they might even help you out if you're going through a tough time. And then if you're confident one time, and then you meet someone that's confident there with you, you guys team up and get even more things done. And then you have trust. Confidence and trust. They're pretty similar, I would say. And then curiosity, obviously. That's how you learn things. If you're just like accept things the way they are or just conform to everything, to some extent, that's fine. But if you're curious or have a strong urge to find new things and you have curiosity in mind, then you can really surprise yourself on how much you can change and figure out. That's things that are a lot different. And you'd be regretting that, oh, it took you this long to figure out that, oh, to do it this way, or to, I don't know, like drive this way, or use a computer this way, or use a tool. I mean, it can apply to everything. And if you just accept things at face value, you'd be alright. But you want more than alright. Ideally. So, I think that would be a start to fixing issues with people I grew up with. Some of my old friends are my same age, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. Obviously, I'm not saying that I'm better than them, but I acknowledge that I should get better, not for them or not to compare myself to them, but to do it for me, myself, because I at all times I'm with myself, so I need to do things to help myself, and in the end, it'll help others. So I'll talk to you later.